I have biracial children. I have a son who is half Mexican, and I have two daughters who are half black. But even if I did not have biracial children, this would be one of the most concerning things I have ever seen come out of the U.S. government. I came across the Department of Homeland Security post yesterday morning, November 28th, that said that the plan is remigration now. And I did a deep dive into remigration. And I read Project 2025, so I know that the goal of the country for Project 2025 authors is an all-white country, a country that looks like me but doesn't look like my children. And I did a deep dive into remigration, its history and what it means. And I cannot overstate how important it is for us all to become educated on this. I'm doing a series on remigration, and I will put it together in a playlist. I'm going to post them all today because we need to know all of this. But I don't ask you guys often, once in a while, to share this, but please share this for our neighbors of color, for our friends and our family members of color, and for 3 of my children that if this policy goes through, could very well be stripped of their American citizenship. Share this, learn, and be on alert. And go love your neighbor.
Do you know why this tweet from Homeland Security is so dangerous, calling for remigration? As a former history teacher, let me explain to you why you need to understand the context and use of that term specifically and what it could mean for the United States. Also, we told you this would happen, but let's get to the history and how it's even being used today in Europe. Let's start by going back in time to Germany in the 1930s. I know, not the best place to time travel to, but you need to understand what the Madagascar Plan was. This was a plan set up by the Yahtzee government that intended to solve the Jewish question, historical educational purposes only. Their plan was to deport them to the island of Madagascar, just to get rid of them entirely, because again, it was all about ethnic cleansing. They wanted pure Germans, and that population, well, they weren't really German. In fact, they didn't even see them as human, so the best solution was to get rid of them. Now are you starting to see why it's so dangerous that Homeland Security is using that term remigration? And it's also picked up steam recently in Europe. Let's go to Italy, where Giorgia Meloni, the current prime minister, is advocating for these policies and even put them into place. And just to be clear, this is taking off throughout Europe, not just Italy. It has been propagated by far-right groups across the continent over the past several years. But Italy is where it's actually starting to take off, as it were, because they do not have birthright citizenship. Being born in Italy does not guarantee you the right to live there or become a citizen. Unlike the United States, where we have the 14th Amendment and the protection of birthright citizenship. And by the way, the current administration is challenging that. They want to strip people of their citizenship and get rid of birthright citizenship to make it like Italy. So even if you have legal status here, you're living in a country legally like Italy, and you have a child there, that child is not guaranteed citizenship or even legal status. And in Italy, people are concerned that their children, even though they are there completely legally, could be deported to a country that they have never seen or known. And that's what they want to try and do here in the United States, because again, you've probably heard of something else called the Great Replacement Theory, propagated by far-right podcasters, news figureheads. I use that term loosely. This has been going on for decades, and now it's in motion. It was written down in Project 2025. You didn't listen, and here we are today. And now the Department of Homeland Security is blatantly dog-whistling white supremacist groups, far-right groups, by using the term remigration, which is just a fancy way of saying YT supremacy and ethnic cleansing.
Well, the official Homeland Security account is once again advocating for remigration, a term that has a very dark history in far-right politics. They said the stakes have never been higher and the goal has never been more clear. Remigration now. Then down here they post 2 times saying help arrest them, help deport them, please join ICE. For anybody who's unfamiliar with this term, here's what it means. It's a European far-right concept of ethnic cleansing via the mass deportation of non-white minority populations, especially immigrants, and sometimes including those born in Europe and holding European citizenship to their place of racial ancestry. This isn't a neutral word. It is a dog whistle with a very specific and dangerous meaning. They're essentially saying they want to go after every single person who is not white in this country, even if you came here the legal way. That includes people who were born here but may have parents or even grandparents that weren't born here. They're going after them too, anybody who's not deemed white enough. And even worse, they're posting links encouraging the general public to help arrest and deport innocent people. This is not how American law enforcement or immigration enforcement is supposed to work at all. U.S. policy should be grounded in the law and the Constitution, not imported extremist far-right ideology.
President Trump wrote on Thursday, quote, "Only reverse migration can fully cure this situation." On Friday, DHS posted, quote, "Remigration now." As you probably know, this term has been used in different situations, but including by the far right in Europe to call for the mass deportation of non-white immigrants. How specifically does the Trump administration define remigration?
Well, President Trump has been working towards cleaning up the mess that Joe Biden left us ever since he came into the White House.
But how do you define that word, Secretary
Noem?
How do you define that word?
Well, first of all, we have criminal illegal aliens we've been targeting since day one. We have removed millions of people from this country already just in the few short months that President Trump has been president by making sure we're going after criminal illegal aliens that are murderers, rapists, and criminals and getting them out of our country, bringing them to justice, and then encouraging people to go home. If you're here illegally and breaking our laws, you can leave now, and you may get the opportunity to come back someday. But if you wait until we detain you, and we will deport you, and you'll never get the chance to come back to America and visit us or become a citizen. We're going to continue to do that, go after those criminals, go after those individuals that came in under programs that were broken on the Biden administration and people who were in place and leadership in that crazy 4 worlds we lived through, 4 years we lived through before President Trump came in. Thank God we have a president now that recognizes that letting all of these people into our country that we don't know who they are is dangerous. That we let in terrorists, we let in criminals, we let in mentally unstable people. They shouldn't be here. They're going to leave, and President Trump is going to ensure that Americans become first and the priority, and that they're going to be safe on their streets again.
Secretary Noem,
Well, it looks like the Trump administration has moved into full Nazi phase. Trump's Department of Homeland Security has all this year tried to position immigrants as the enemy, and we have to defend ourselves against, the vile immigrants that are polluting the bloodstream of America. But yesterday, DHS, our Department of Homeland Security, tweeted, "The fight for Western civilization is just getting started. Join the fight." This is rhetoric from the Proud Boys. Western civilization, meaning white society under threat from Muslims and Hispanics and Africans. And, this is the rhetoric in white supremacist circles about defending Western civilization. If that wasn't enough, then they post, "The stakes have never been higher and the goal has never been more clear. Remigration now." Remigration is a popular concept in neo-Nazi and white supremacist groups about rounding up non-white immigrants and sending them back to their ethnic country of origin. Remigration. Let's kick these people out. This isn't a Nazi group posting this. This is the Department of Homeland Security. The Department of Homeland Security is posting remigration now. Are you hearing this? This is our government talking about rounding up people and sending them back to their country of origin. Trump is using this horrible shooting in D.C., which is suspicious as hell. These two very young National Guard members who were shot by an Afghan national who was trained by the CIA as a pretext for locking down immigration. All asylum cases are paused. He's reviewing everybody who came in during the Biden administration. Like, there's this clampdown that's happening. Just yesterday, Trump tweeted, "The refugee burden is the leading cause of social dysfunction in America." We know what this is. This is what racist fascism looks like. We're in a new phase, people. He used the Thanksgiving holiday, where he posted a picture of him as a pilgrim, to create a new racist fear-mongering policy in the Department of Homeland Security, remigration. What are you going to do about it? Right? We need to take this resistance up about 10 notches. We're moving into uncharted territory here, and either we stand up or we lose this country. Welcome to the resistance.
President Trump is trying to silence me, threatening to kill me for saying what is true. And he sent his Secretary of Defense after me. He makes these threats to silence people. And if that doesn't work, he abuses his power to intimidate people. And with the consent of Republicans in the United States Senate, he has surrounded himself with people like the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, who will do whatever he says with no question, no matter what. Trump and Hegseth, they care more about publicity than they do about the rule of law. That's how I ended up finding out via a tweet that the Secretary of Defense was ordering an investigation into me. The same Secretary of Defense who has, from the moment he was nominated, has been historically unqualified for this position. Everybody needs to wake up. The occupant of the Oval Office is ignorant to the Constitution and has no regard for the rule of law. Trying to silence me, and proposing to court-martial me, and threatening to kill me for fighting back when our democracy demands that we must fight back. President Trump has crossed a line because I've given too much in service to this country to back down to this guy. In 1991, when Donald Trump was driving the Taj Mahal casino into bankruptcy, I was getting shot at over Iraq and Kuwait. In 2001, after Donald Trump said that the collapse of the Twin Towers meant he now owned the tallest skyscraper in Manhattan, I was carrying flags honoring 9/11 victims into space on a rocket ship. In 2003, when Donald Trump was writing birthday greetings to the monster Jeffrey Epstein, I was the first on the scene to recover the bodies of my fellow astronauts who died when Space Shuttle Columbia exploded during re-entry. In 2011, when Trump was hosting a reality show and peddling conspiracy theories against President Barack Obama, I was sitting next to my wife's hospital bed as she recovered from a gunshot wound to the head. My point is this: I've been through a lot worse in service to my country. The president and Pete Hegseth are not going to silence me.
Shalom, shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto YAHAWAH, Hashem, YAHAWASHI, Hashem, Wakwak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of great millstone, Shalom to mighty Akim Wagwathim, who are diligently waiting to be delivered from this final captivity, as well as the speckled bird that may look like the other nations but are actually Yasharallah. This is Brother Kawakab coming at you with no lesson. Today's lesson, we're going to be going into these unrighteous decrees. Okay, so first things first, Isaiah chapter 10 verse 1, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and that right grievousness which they have prescribed. This is absolute wickedness.
He was not white.
So over here they're saying that they want to kick people out the country regardless of they're legally or illegally, even though, mind you, they already did that whole mass deportation thing with ICE, but now they're going after legal people that are there legally as well. All right, so this is insane. All right, and basically the implications is that you don't, the only, regardless of if the only home that you've ever known was in Babylon, that does not matter, because even if you were born there, because we're getting rid of you because we're trying to make this into an all white nation, very clearly. So this is absolutely insane. This is absolutely absolutely insane for them to be doing that. And then on top of that, you have this dude, Slucky, who's saying that just for speaking out, he's being targeted by his own leader, by DJT. He's saying that because I am not okay with doing wickedly, I'm not okay with being a demon. All right, which whatever information that he has, basically he was threatened. Like that's some genuinely crazy information to hear. But of course, at the same time, these people are divided against themselves. Esau only cares when things are going bad, only when it affects him. He doesn't actually care when things are actually bad, because he's been trying to sabotage and make things bad for literally everyone else. But whenever it affects him specifically, okay, no, we got to do something. Like, we all got to come together and work together and all that stuff. All right, but no, not before. All right. So, with that, let's get into more of these precepts. Sirach chapter 10, verse 2. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers, and what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. So these people are copying their rulers, all right. But also, verse 3, an unwise king destroys his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. So first things first, the people are copying their leaders, meaning that they are just as wicked. Just because this guy is talking all this stuff, that doesn't mean that he's a good person. He probably has done some wickedness, but I don't know for certain. I don't live these people's lives and whatnot. But oftentimes, a lot of these Edomites, they are not innocent, even though they're talking all this. Oh, we're trying to do good. We want good for the American people, X, Y, and Z. But in actuality, their hands are bloody. All right. Now, with that, the second thing is an unwise king destroys his people, where you have this demon that is destroying his people. All right. Proverbs 29 verse 2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Where even his own people are saying, I do not like this. I do not like this. I am not okay with that. That you guys are, and especially with the famine things, okay? Because this actually it's kind of surprising how this is Edomite looking people that are the ones that are pointing this stuff out. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this is Indian, I think.
Only reverse migration can fully cure this situation. On Friday, DHS posted, quote, situations, but in...
Okay, so Eve, or so-called Indian. But anyway, yeah, but that's not even really the case, because news reporter, she's just reading off whatever cue cards and whatnot. Anyway, you get the point where this is actually a bunch of Edomites are pointing this stuff out, as you can see. All right. And it's like, okay, well, what the hell is going on? They're losing their workforce, quote unquote workforce, which slave labor. Okay. Oh, they lost all their Mexicans tending their lawn. They lost their farm workers and stuff like that. Which, by the way, the farms are suffering. The farms have been, losing workers and manpower. All right. Okay. So yeah, this is what's been going on, and the nation is being destroyed as a result of it. Okay, you can only imagine how Jacob's trouble is going to be implemented. Like, you don't. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, but I know it's gonna be bad. But continuing on, Ezekiel chapter 35 verse 5, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Basically, oh my goodness, this is another one. Bear with me one moment. Slocky again. As I was saying, what was I saying? Oh yeah, Esau has been, that's the thing that annoys me, but greatly annoys me. And it just goes to show the hypocrisy of it, where Esau is doing all this shit. He's being so unfair, so evil, openly evil. But yet, guess who's still public enemy number one? All right, the Israelites. So us talking and saying, look at what Esau does. Look at what Esau has done. All that means jack shit, because guess what? Love everyone, this, that, and the third, whatnot. Rather than acknowledging that Esau is a fucking devil. Esau is actively showing you how much he hates you, but yet it doesn't matter. He's allowed to do that, but rules for thee, but not for us. And now I just found the video that I was looking for the other lesson, but now it's too late. Anyway, I want to get this video. Hold on. If we do something, if we say something, that's how could you say something so terrible? But if they do something, it's fine. That's just normal.
And they believe the day of Armageddon comes, that Jesus is going to keep white people alive and make them slaves.
So basically, the thing with this is he is over here calling Israelites the black version of the KKK, but he also admits that we don't do any of those terrible things. He said black verbal version of the Klan, when, how are we the Klan if we're just pointing out things that are objective facts? So now it's a fact. It's like now you're a hate group. You're a terrorist. Slocky, I need to watch what I'm saying. I'm just going off. You're a T word because you say and do all that stuff. You say all that stuff, but you don't do anything. But when they do it, it's fine. Like, do you see the stupid double standards that these people have? Whenever an Edomite does something that's extremely off the rails, it's just edgy, it's fine, it's cool. But then when we do it, and we're the worst thing since whatever. All right, it's utterly ridiculous. But yeah, let's get this next. Okay, so Proverbs 24 verse 23. These things also belong to the wise. It is not good to have respect of persons in judgment. Deuteronomy 1:17. Ye shall not respect persons in judgment, but ye shall hear the small as well as the great. Ye shall not be afraid of the face of man, for the judgment is Yahawah's, and the cause that is too hard for you, bring it unto me, and I will hear it. And I actually wanted to get this specifically, Deuteronomy 1:17, because this was what a brother had brought up. I thought it was a very good thing where, when you're dealing with something where you have to judge a matter yourself, like if it is too hard for you, like if you say, I don't know, I'm not too knowledgeable on that, then it's like, okay, well, pray on it, you let YAHAWASHI handle it. Not necessarily excuse it or say like, okay, well, I can't do anything, like I'm done with this or something like that. Not dismiss it, but more specifically, ask the Lord YAHAWASHI for the guidance in that. And let me actually get this. James, I believe, 1. James 1 and 5. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of Yahweh that giveth to all men liberally and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. Basically, the Lord is going to give you wisdom. You don't need to worry about all that stuff, okay? Like, something to remember, all right? So with that, I pray this lesson was edifying. I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem, Rakwak, Wadash, double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone, abad, ball, and shalom.